All right, here we go again. Buckle up. So again, the idea in Mexico is that you have to do it this way, you have to do it way. That's BS. Number one, Mexico was liberated with the help of people from the United States. Pancho Villa, Emiliano Zapata, they all agreed to a foreign legion. And these were, mercenaries that had fought other wars in the United States. So his idea, I don't even know where it came from. It doesn't make any sense. Why would you finish a war where foreigners helped you gain your freedom and then establish some idea where no foreign boots could help you keep that freedom? It doesn't make any sense. Also, law enforcement only, it's like ludicrous. I mean, it's insane. You're fighting an insurgency. And it's not only one insurgent, it's at least three or four separate insurgent entities. Like you see the territory of El Mencho's organization, right? Well, there's other organizations within those regions, other insurgencies. It's lawlessness. It's not a nation. It has no control. So what they'll do is they're using psychological operations. They'll go into the background at a certain point, right? Only to rise up again and do it again. These are people, humans that are being tortured and killed. What they try to say is it's only the organization. It's other organizations. Like we only fight other cartels. It's bullshit. They steal people's kids, rape, murder, pillage, plunder, pay cops off. Again, that's what hit the United States. The same thing that's going on down there. It's not traditional corruption. Again, remember the KGB became what? A criminal. It's always been criminal, but became an international, global criminal organization worth trillions. Paid off government employees. I guarantee money made it to my coworkers. That came from part of it came from the KGB. Russian isn't going to walk up to you and pay you. Will be a former employee who's a PI who tells you he's in missing and exploited children or something like that. Right? Meanwhile, they're supporting sex trafficking. That's the biggest sex trafficking scam in the world, that you're going after the pedophile or the predator. Then when you talk about it, go, well, why is he talking about it? He knows what we're doing, so therefore that means he's committed that crime. I mean, it's ludicrous. The entire investigative process is like maybe you could dupe a first grader with it. People are willfully ignorant of what they're doing in this nation for monetary gain, for drug gain, for narcissism, whatever floats their boat, whatever titillates them. Being the governor of Minnesota, being a senator, they're all into it. So there's no way to. I mean, she's actually, by doing what she's doing, she is responsible for the cartel. Even though she's stopping El Mencho, she's responsible for it resurging. Go in the background, lick their wounds, buy some more ammunition, build some more armored vehicles, buy some new guns. They say, well, it's coming from the United States. Well, you got a porous border then because they're coming in. Why aren't they being stopped at the border? You always want to point at the United States. We're a pretty big darn country, and you've messed it up here with your people that you're letting infiltrate our nation. You have a much easier nation to protect. I mean, they're driving straight across the border into Mexico with weapons, multiple weapons. Well, that's nice. I got the air purifier. I mean, the fan on. I have no idea why it's still going off like that. It could be a high humid content from the snow. Actually, I think it's drier when it snows. Yeah, we're not really getting any sizable accumulation, but apparently it's going to go crazy on the East Coast. I wonder what they cursed me somehow. I think because again, I didn't want the blizzard of 1978 to be here. I just spoke about it. I don't think God created it. I think you all, or maybe. I mean, if Philadelphia and New York City are coming against me, and New York and maybe the New England states, God may have sent a blizzard. We're definitely not experiencing it out here. I'm sure there's some out here, but it may not be the government's. Again, governments is different than a government person. Now, we have criminal governments in the United States, federal, state, and local. And then there's government people that are criminals. There's a difference between those two. But of course, criminal governments contain criminal people. But good government sometimes, or you actually usually, because like the KGB, like I said, they have trillions. KGB still exists. It's an organized crime entity. I'm gonna make my veggie burger. These are they did an amazing job. It actually tastes like burger now. You actually have ground beef and make meatballs with it, make burgers with it. But it's ground, whatever it is. So again, at a certain point, the government becomes responsible for that level of genocide that we're seeing in Mexico. And quite frankly, this idea that you're only going to use police action against it. Again, it doesn't work. It's the reason why certain things fail over the years. Most mainly that effort against narcotics distribution. I don't know, if they're going to go in the background this time. I mean, they have to. They can't sustain. It's like, well, if you only pick off a couple people at a time, we'll let you survive. You have 25 Mexican National Guard dead. And I'll tell you, they're dead because you don't have armored vehicles. All that money in Mexico, where's it going? Not to armored vehicles for the police, right? I mean, that in itself is criminal. The number of law enforcement and military that have died because you won't purchase armored vehicles. Well, what we need to do is actually, they'll call them a puppet, but the United States as a puppet. I mean, United States of Mexico as a puppet is is an up from where they are. Do you understand that idea? Look at words. can't turn this thing off. What's it doing? Yeah, I already contacted the manufacturer. All right. It's a nice looking pot here, and it heats up real nice, but I can't turn it off now. I gotta unplug everything. Nah, I got warranty, got service going. I don't even understand. I mean, when El Mencho builds armored vehicles, you buy armored vehicles. Now, again, I did see one floating by in one of the videos, but you can't use like somebody else said, here comes the Mexican military with the Ford F-150s. I mean, what? Right. Well, do you know the number of F-150s that have been destroyed could have purchased you armored vehicles that would still be standing? Do you understand that? They destroy 5 F-150s, you could have bought an armored vehicle. And it'd still be standing. And your people wouldn't be dead. I mean, this is really ludicrous the way you just sacrifice law enforcement officers in that country. I agree, Larry. So that's an I, E-Y-E, agreed. That's a psychic addition. So the I agrees. There are I's in the world. My machine is an I. I'm one of the 7 eyes of God. Thank you. I'm sorry. Hell yeah, it's definitely dirty. I mean, that part's true. Exactly what it is, I'm not sure. So the Elon Musk thing, there could be 2 parts to that. One, that they may figure out what I'm doing, so they program their AI not to attack me. Second, they may have hit their critical mass, the saturation of Elon hate, and then turn to something else. In other words, Elon can be abrasive, but there is a psyop where we're moving. Yeah, DHS doesn't have funding. Send the military. That's a Senate and House caused, mostly Democrats, caused a national emergency. Write it up. Put the blame on the Democrats. Executive order. Start moving National Guard and military. Let it go down in history. As have being caused by these people. Right. And in reality, we do have law enforcement in Mexico and CIA. It's generally a advisory role. And they can call somebody real quick to get information and get assistance. Penca Rega was incorrectly identified, but not incorrectly identified. There's still an arm of Venezuela, but they're a lower level thing. They're not like, they try to put them up as like the intelligence services. Now, there could have been somebody in the intelligence services, or a group. They're still essentially the same thing, but they're not sophisticated as far as individuals. They have assistants. But again, when immigrants are misbehaving and their home country stands up to the United States in reference to that misbehaving, then what are we actually seeing? That same scenario. We're protecting the criminal income. You know, it's just like what Iran said, that at a certain point they knew they could manipulate the United States. Now, I think that's probably going into the background with whatever that mechanism was. Well, the Democrats really don't care as long as the money keeps coming in from the Iranians. That sucking sound is all of your tax dollars and all the money being siphoned off and all the narco money heading south. Right. Well, you know, I've been in the mine, things come in. Small Business Administration. These loans going out to people of color, foreign nationals, over a U.S. citizen. That's how they played that one. Or one of them gets their citizenship and then he hires all the rest. Do you see how that works? Again, when they say U.S. citizens in Mexico, yes, I agree that they're U.S. citizens. Maybe Trump will take some of their citizenship over time because it was under, fraud, based upon fraud. Right. But they're not all U.S. citizens the way you consider them. They were born in Mexico. They spend at least 50% of their time in Mexico. Some spend most of their time in Mexico but hold U.S. citizenship. So they get the U.S. citizenship. I'm a person of color. Hello, Small Business Administration. Now I hire 20 of my foreign national cronies. They run the majority of my business from Mexico, Honduras, Nicaragua. What's that sucking sound? The SBA funds going south. We're over to Somalia. Actually, I don't even think they can run a business over there anymore. They trash. Like the parasites all leave their homeland when they destroy it. Now they come here to suck off of the U.S. tit, and then they send their money back to the warlords. That's what's going on in Mexico. At least in Somalia, they call them warlords. Right. Tim's a warlord. He steals all the government money for them. That's their mindset. Tim's the warlord. As long as the mayor of Minneapolis and the governor of Minnesota are still standing, their warlord is still powerful and in power. No matter how many of them you send to prison. Right? So this is why assimilation is important. Well, Donald Trump's a warlord. Well, not really, but he's the president. I kind of like a warlord. So I draft some presidential order stating that the Democrats and the Republicans that are holding out know what they're doing, and they created a national emergency where troops have to be deployed to the border and other places in an increasing manner because nobody else has money left. Courts might be extorted to a certain degree. I see the messages coming across my computer in an attempt to fishing expedition extort me. Right. Well, some of it they're predisposed to, but it doesn't mean that they would automatically give in. So she's not fighting a law enforcement battle down there. Taking them to court should not be the priority. Destroying their organization should be. But as soon as you, like I said, as soon as you arrest El Mencho, El Tencho, and El Pencho have already taken over, which you can see in the uprising in the nation. Again, these are insurgencies. These are not criminal gangs. They fit every historical description of an insurgency. Let me wash my K-bar here. The blade looks like a K-bar. It's pretty funny. It's just a medieval utensil set, you know. The medieval place setting. There's a nice little doohickey here. Carbon steel flatware. Recommended for women for that extra iron. But again, it wouldn't fit their basal interests. Generally, some women, like what's her name, Villanova, whatever her name is in Texas. I'm running for office again. Make a lot of money doing it. Oh yeah, I forgot to put this thing up there. No, she's like, remember Alan something. I forget his name. African American guy. who's a professional I run for office guy. Oh, you get money and it pays. It's like an income. You stay at hotel. You stay travel the whole year. Right? Pays for your hotels, your per diem, your food. Right? Lease a vehicle for it. Right? Maybe Alan West. All right. Stay peaceful. Praise God and all that you do.